Hey, welcome to the weekly Ladybug Project, where once a week we are raising awareness for child molestation and encouraging those who are small and silent to spread their wings and fly. Kara is the founder, and she's located in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I don't think we've ever mentioned that before. And I am joining in weekly from Raleigh, North Carolina. Um, and so today, Kara is going to open with a special reading and prayer.
And before that, I wanted to mention we're doing what did I call it? A Saturday bug. Saturdays from 8 to 8:30, there's a charity little cycle event at Sweat Cycle on 501 next to the Dunkin' Donuts. And this Saturday, we'll be focusing on the Ladybug Project. So if you come from 8 to 8:30 and cycle with us, there's going to be some information about the Ladybug Project. And actually, Alyssa's book will be there. There's about 4 of them that you can purchase. And then I'll just have the little Yogi series books there as well. So if you want to purchase, Alyssa, what's the price we discussed on? What do we say? How much is it going to be?
$10 a book.
$10. And that saves you because they're like $10 or $12 online, and then you have to pay shipping and handling. So you're really getting a steal. Or if you want to purchase some to donate towards like schools and counseling centers and safe homes, we're more than welcome to do that too. You can just donate some money to do that. And help us and like us and subscribe on YouTube and help us spread the word about the Ladybug Project. So, yeah, and I found this amazing little quote and prayer by Marianne Williamson. And if you're going through any type of trauma and healing through that, this is Marianne Williamson is an amazing author to read from, any of her stuff. Return to Love, just amazing stuff that she has. If something makes our heart sing, that's God's way of telling us it's a contribution he wants us to make. Sharing our gifts is what makes us happy. We are most powerful, and God's power is the most apparent on the earth when we are happy. The only real pleasure comes from doing God's will. The only thing to be saved from is our own negativity or fear. The cracks in salvation in any area is a shift in our sense of purpose. That shift is a miracle. As always, we consciously ask for it. Dear God, please give my life some sense of purpose. Use me as an instrument of your peace. Use my talents and abilities to spread love. I surrender my job to you. Help me to remember that my real job is to love the world back to health. Thank you. Amen. Don't ask God to send you a brilliant career. Rather, ask him to show you the brilliance which is within you. It is the recognition of our brilliance which releases it into expression. When internal stirrings occur, external effects can't fail to happen. So, Alyssa.
I don't know why that made me smile the first time you read it and cry the second time you read it.
It's so good. You need to, like, if you want to replay this, I mean, it's good to have those things like washed over you. There's a scripture in the Bible that says just wash in the word. And sometimes we need those words of encouragement. We need those things washed over us. And like we talked about last year, we soak our seeds that are buried, not for death, but to bring something anew and to wash those seeds in tears sometimes helps us prosper, and it helps bring about that change. So tears of joy can occur, tears of whatever's going on. It's always a good thing, and to be washed in encouraging words is always good. So we're talking about empowerment, and empowerment is a beautiful thing that we need as individuals, even if you haven't suffered a trauma. Empowering and knowing who you are is a beautiful thing because it can help others around you be empowered as well. When you walk in your true authenticity, you're allowing others to do the same. And so, Alyssa, we're talking about this, and we're saying being empowered, but yet it's so funny. We realized something about our names. You want to take a spin and talk about the power of our names?
I do. So Kara and I have talked about what our names mean, and her name, Kara, actually means joy. And my name, Alyssa, means truth. And if you take the time to think about the meaning of your name, for me, it's just been very powerful to realize, wow, my name means truth. And ever since what happened to me when I was pretty much a toddler, was to almost destroy that truth and to have to live my life with carrying someone else's lie, and to have a threat over my life with a child molestation that I could die if I didn't live my life carrying someone else's lie. So from a very early age, I felt like my identity was under attack. And being age 40 now, it's been a long road of trying to unravel that and reclaim my own truth and release that lie that somebody else was living that I carried. It's a difficult process, but it's part of the empowerment that we're talking about. And I know that with Kara, child molestation and abuse of any sort, those things come to kill your joy, and her name means joy. And one reason I've been friends with her for so long, and something that I've admired about her, is just her passion to continue to take punches in her life and get down and cry, but then get back up and say, how can I find joy today? How can I keep moving towards joy? And not just for myself, but spreading joy to others in their life. So that is the power of finding your own name. If you look up your name and it seems boring to you and it has no meaning, then you can revisit one of the topics we talked about last week of writing your own definitions, and go ahead and make up what you want your name to mean and live by that. Live your own truth and create it. Kara may have additional comments about that, and she also has some concrete tips for measuring our daily success.
I love that. I love what you said. I love the fact that, like, just rewriting, like writing something new. And I've actually had friends that have changed their names before, and for different reasons, and finding their truth. One of my friends went from one name to another name, and it was they wanted a stronger name. It's very strong. It's Andrew, not my Andrew, but somebody I know, they went to an Andrew, and Andrew is such a dominant name. It's such a masculine. It literally means like masculinity. It's a very, very powerful name. And so I think it's really cool. And I have another friend that changed their name to Melissa, and just, so you can, I know, like, even it's funny, like my dad had no idea about my name. Like he loved my mom so much. My mom, her name is Karen, Karan, and he loved my mom so much. He named my sister after her. It was Dana Karen Adams. That was my mom's name, Dana Karen. She goes by Kay. But then he named me Kara. He just took the N off of Karen, because he just loved my mom so much. And he wanted Christ in my name, so he said Kara Christine. And it's just the coolest thing to discover your name. And it's kind of like discovering more than just your name. When you start to dig into things like that and research, you can discover your worth. And just staying, like Alyssa was saying, is staying true to yourself. And she was being honest with herself. She was speaking her truth now, not speaking someone else's truth that people try to enforce on us. I say a lot of personal things because I feel like, I don't want to call out somebody else, but there's a lot of truth in what we've lived, and that's how we relate to each other as human beings. And I know my oldest son, he has been saying he wants to be a film director. He wanted to make movies at the young, ripe age of 4 years old. And he would have other parents laugh because their kids were like, oh, we want to be race car drivers. We want to be ballerinas. And my son was just like, I want to make movies. And that was really different for a lot of people. And they didn't understand that. But he has stuck true to that passion. And he's never lost that. And I love that so much, because as children, we know what we want. I used to want to be in the circus as a kid. I was like, I want to be a clown. I didn't understand it. I was like, what? And people would, and I don't know if I ever expressed it to anybody because I didn't want to get laughed at, but it's something that we need to know. It's okay to be who you are. And I think when you suffer a trauma and you experience post-traumatic stress, you experience these things, you lose a piece, or maybe not necessarily lose a piece. I think your vision gets clouded and you don't see things as clearly as you want to. And so I'm going to explain some tips to help us get back to that authenticity and to that place of what did you want to be when you were a kid? Because that has us on a certain path to what we really truly want to be. And that's our nature and our the essence of who we are. Because me wanting to be a circus, it probably wasn't about the circus. It was just about entertaining people and watching people laugh. And for my name to be Joy is to want to see smiles on other faces. It's a deep part of who I am. And not to make it pleasing people and just appease people, but to truly make it joyful for other people to live in their truth and be a joy in themselves is what I love the most. And people embracing their empowerment and fully who they are, not pleasing them by what I'm saying, but empowering them with what I'm saying. So I love that. So these tips I want to say is, so get a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to write these down, and I'm going to say it twice for you. So I want you to write on a piece of paper these categories, and then you're going to write something beside them. And you can always come back to this. And this is something that helps us on a growth process of, like, for me, finding more joy. Do I have joy in these categories of my life? For Alyssa, is she staying true to herself and being honest with herself in these certain categories of her life? Write down financial, emotional, professional, personal progress, parenting, friendships, family relationships, romantic partnerships. So write those 8 things down: financial, emotional, professional, personal progress, parenting, friendships, family relationships, and romantic partnerships. Now, when you write those things down, you're going to put them in one of these 5 categories. And then later on, you can go back to it maybe a month later and see if you made any progress. And then maybe 3 months later, maybe, 6 months, a year later down the road, you get your journal and you're like, wow, I've really grown. And you can see how you've really tuned into these different categories to see how you've done. And if you're maturing or if you're taking action to walk in a healthier version of this category of your life. So you're going to put down beside all those 8 categories, I am. So I am. And then you're going to either write surviving barely, recovering slowly, stabilizing finally, thriving cautiously, or succeeding firmly. So you're either going to go, if you're looking at the financial and you're like, okay, I'm surviving barely. So you can work on that. That's something you need to work on in your life. It doesn't have to be like you have to be fully balanced on all of these levels, but maybe you're looking at your personal progress. You're like, okay, I'm recovering slowly in this area in my life. Maybe in parenting, you're saying, okay, I'm stabilizing finally. Kids get really crazy sometimes, right? Or just not crazy, but just, they get out of, you're like, whoa, it's a whole different life form. And your friendships, you might be like, I'm thriving cautiously. I'm surrounding myself with people that are uplifting me and that aren't saying, oh, that's wrong. They're saying, you go, girl, or you go, man. You might, in romantic partnerships, maybe you're like, man, I'm succeeding firmly. That's what I think I've struggled with forever. But
coming.
But yeah, write these categories down, see how you're doing in them. This is something that can be like, is there joy in my finances? Is there joy in my parenting? And your friendships, like I was saying, I pointed out the friendship thing, one of my friends, I said, I have a goal. I want to make a certain amount of money per day. And they were like, Kara, is it always about money with you? And I'm like, no, I just had a goal, and it's like, but really, truly, I talked to somebody else and they're like, Kara, that's an awesome goal. And they're like, I'm going to do it. And they started doing it. And I'm like, sometimes you just have to surround yourself. And even the person that made the comment, do you focus on money all the time? And I don't, because I'm like, I just stay really busy. I'm very creative. I constantly create things. And, but I've noticed that person that said something that was really funny. They actually are, they kind of outdo me on their money skills lately. And so, sometimes you're just an influence to people, and sometimes you're doing a lot more than you imagine. And even if you feel like it's something negative, maybe it's not negative. Maybe it's just the fact that it's making them rise up to the occasion and making them go, wait a second, is that something in me? And they don't even know. They're just projecting that it can just happen like that. What do you think? Any thoughts on that, Alyssa? And then we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think those are all great things to write down. And you're inspiring me to just, I'm supposed to be keeping track of so many things in my life and writing them down. And I don't. I just let it all float around up here. So I'll try to get better with writing measurable things down in my life. But
I feel like this is simple. Like you could just write it down, and it's simple.
It is simple. Yeah, it's simple. And, you're not comparing yourself to anybody else. It's just about you, just about what you want out of your life. And if you think you're doing better or not. So, yeah.
Love it. Mm-hmm. So, how people learn languages and they're like, oh, I'm learning French, I'm learning Spanish, or like Alyssa's actually pretty fluent. She's pretty fluent in Spanish, right?
Un poquito. And a little bit in German.
So for me, I've been learning Sanskrit. It's like a very ancient language. It's a power language. It's not so much a communication, but you use it a lot in yoga. And I learned this mantra. It's really cool. And I thought it fit perfectly with the day, and I wanted to express it. It means praise to the truth or wisdom found within. Now, how appropriate is that?
Are you going to sing it?
I sure can.
Okay.
I do at the end of your yoga classes. So it says it's mani padme and the in the beginning is om. The in the end is aum. And sometimes I make these. Sometimes I sing my own tune. Sometimes I just do a low key like some people. But I can sing it for you guys if you want. So, and remember, it's praise to the truth or wisdom found within. Mani padme Very simple, right?
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you guys. See you next week. Oh, and don't forget Saturday Run. We got this. Come out and give support for the Ladybug Project, 8 to 8:30 at Sweat Cycle in Myrtle Beach.
In Myrtle Beach, right?
Myrtle Beach, baby.
All right.
In the South. Bye, guys.